Yes, everyone, what's going on? This is Transfer Talk. My name is Stephen Howson. This is coming at you from Australia. We was out last night with the Australian Perth Supporters Club, and it was a messy night, should we say. Feeling a little bit worse for wear. I would have said good morning. I mean, it's good morning back in the UK, but it's almost 2:30 over here in Australia. We are heading over to the ground. There's another meet-up and another bit of a drinking session today for the supporters clubs at the ground, so we're going to be heading over to that as soon as we've done this video. So this is going to be a bit of a roundup about what's going on. There's tons of transfers sort of at different stages of probability that they're going to happen, but there's a couple of new names in here. Let's get fired straight into it. One name that isn't new is obviously Bruno Fernandes. Now, reports in Italy claim that Solskjaer could be handed a transfer boost in the pursuit of Bruno Fernandes. Reports in Italy claim that Sporting are now closing in on a replacement for Fernandes, which could open up his move to Old Trafford. I'm not sure that the fact that they can't replace him is the issue at the moment. It sounds like United and Sporting are miles off in the price. But Alfredo Padula says the Portuguese club have found the replacement and are closing in on Palermo's Alexander Trzaskowski, who is poised to sign a 4-year contract at Sporting. A quick reminder of what the Sporting president said this week about Fernandes. He says, "What I know and the guarantee I can guarantee is that Sporting will be ready to compete with our ambitions." Don't really know what that means. When he was asked about Fernandes' future, he says, "Let's be prepared for the new season." Ebola have recently come out and said that United haven't given up on Bruno Fernandes, but instead are concentrating on a deal for Maguire, which to me makes a lot of sense because centre-half is an absolute key position for us, and it's obviously going to be massive financial demands to get him out of Leicester. Dealing with any Premier League club because of the TV deal is an absolute nightmare at the moment. So it says the club will turn their attention to midfield with 2 midfield signings, one being Bruno, after they've got that centre-half over the line, which is believed to be Maguire. One midfielder that could be on his way, for me, this seems only likely that I actually think that Milinkovic-Savic and Pogba, Milinkovic-Savic and Bruno would actually link up better than either Milinkovic-Savic and Pogba or Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. But I don't think, certainly at 72 million, which is the quoted price, that you're going to get that and Fernandes, and have Pogba, and have Fred, and have... Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make a lot of sense that that's all going to go down at the same time. I think if we're in for Milinkovic-Savic, which I think it makes sense to be in for him, it'll be to replace Pogba. Not an identical player to Pogba, but it'll be to replace Pogba, if you get what I'm saying. And then you could bring in a Fernandes, and then you can start to completely rebuild the midfield at United, which is, I think, what we need. So United are prepared to offer 80 million euros for Milinkovic-Savic, and Lazio want 90 million euros, according to Italian transfer market expert Damasio. Sky Italy also reporting that United are preparing a £72 million bid for the midfielder, which is in the region of about 80 million euros. Last season, 31 appearances in Serie A, 5 goals, 3 assists, 79% pass completion, 2.66 shots per game, and then 15.4 shots per goal, which is not very clinical, but that's what you expect when shooting from 30, 25 yards out. Worth noting that his best season was during the 17-18 season when he won Serie A Midfielder of the Year, but he also did win that award this season as well, although the hype has massively died down on Milinkovic-Savic. Now, Harry Maguire, I think, is one that's massively important for United to get over the line. I don't think he's got that calm, smooth air of some of the centre-halves that are out there. I think there's a little bit of a chaos factor about him, which is probably not a good thing, but he wins everything. There's like a no-fly zone around Harry Maguire. Anything that comes near him is won, and that's in our box, and that's in the opposition box as well. And I think that's a threat that United need in the opposition box. But aside from that, let's have a look at the update then. So United have offered an improved bid to sign Harry Maguire, 60 million up front and 20 million in add-ons. That to me sounds a lot more like what I would think would be a sensible bid for somebody. It says Leicester want more up front so they can reinvest, and that's Ian McGarry and Duncan Castles on their Transfer Window podcast. United are now prioritising Harry Maguire and selling Romelu Lukaku as they enter the last 4 weeks of the transfer window, from the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable online blog, the Manchester Evening News. And United hope to complete a deal for Harry Maguire for £75 million, and City are refusing to be drawn into a bidding war and value him at around £60 million. That's from James Ducker and The Telegraph, and he also mentions Longstaff in his article as well. However, the Times are reporting that although United want to sign Maguire, they are refusing to meet Leicester's valuation of 90 million for him, and that is from Paul Hurst at the Times. Like I said, Harry Maguire, player I would love to see in a United shirt, add something different that we don't have to our attack. Not necessarily world class, not necessarily anything that you can compete with like Nemanja Vidic, but you got to cut your cough accordingly at the moment, and we're not in that position. Is he better than everything we've got? By an absolute country mile, so he improves our defence. The addition of him and Wan-Bissaka, I think, makes United more attacking because we can be more adventurous with the ball, knowing that we've got cover and people that can actually defend. Sometimes you can go and be more attacking because you know that you don't have to keep a clean sheet to win, and that was, I think, United's issue, that if we didn't keep a clean sheet, you're probably not going to win because we're only scoring one goal at the other end. It's a catch-22 situation, isn't it? Sean Longstaff, the update on Longstaff. United are weighing up what they're willing to offer Newcastle for Longstaff. He's hopeful that a deal can be agreed and have the opportunity to speak to Manchester United, but he understands if Newcastle won't sell, he is fully committed to the club. That's from Solekol, can't even, Cave fella, you know the one from Sky Sports. There seems to have been a leak by United to the press about the ongoing negotiations for them and Newcastle for Longstaff. Sky Sports, James Ducker, Paul Hurst from the Times, and the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable online blog, the Manchester Evening News, are all reporting that United have been left absolutely staggered by Newcastle's price tag of 50 million. Yeah, bang on. It's ridiculous. Now, I don't have a problem with 50 million for Wan-Bissaka, 21 years old, not established himself as an international yet. And you can paint those sort of things with Longstaff, but the fact that he's had like 18-month more experience in the Premier League, I think matters, and that's why he's been valued at 50 million. He's putting up numbers that make him the best defensive fullback in the league and a very interesting proposition going forward. Longstaff not done that yet. He's shown a little bit of promise. I've watched more and more of him, and I kind of get what he's about as a player a little bit more. But at 50 million, I would much rather see one of our academy lads given the opportunity to go and make that happen themselves, rather than a player that, let's be honest, is pure potential at the moment, 6 games in. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, 6 games in, looked like he was going to be an England starter. So things happen in a player's career. It's not a guaranteed straight path to the top. So apparently Ed Woodward has contacted Lee Chandler, the managing director at Newcastle, on Saturday about Longstaff, was quoted 50 million. United apparently value him between 18 and 20 million. Yeah. They were taken aback by Newcastle's quoted price. He wants to join the club, but he may be forced to pursue the club may be forced to pursue alternative targets, according to the Telegraph. Yusuf Yazici, not a clue. Apparently, reports coming out of Turkey suggest that United are ready to submit a bid of £27 million for the Trabzonspor midfielder Yusuf Yazici. Never seen this guy play. Don't even know how you pronounce his name. 22-year-old has been linked to the likes of Monaco and Lille in recent weeks. However, club president Ahmet Agalugu has confirmed that the offers they've received haven't been enough. For me, this probably means link United's name. Everyone starts talking about him, the price goes up. It's probably something in that sort of territory in it. So, but anyway, 34 appearances, 4 goals, 3 assists. Here's what it is with the guy, isn't it? Ruben Diaz is another one that has been linked. United are looking to sign Ruben Diaz in the last few days, according to Correa de Mania. The Benfica centre-back currently has a €66 million release clause. And Manchester United are in Lisbon on Wednesday last week at Estadio de Luz to watch Diaz in Benfica's game versus Anderlecht. Preliminary contracts have been established in order to assess the possibility of negotiating with Benfica. However, according to the source that is contacted, it says here, it's difficult for Diaz to leave for a lower value. It's either a take it or leave it, pay the buyout, or you're not going to get him. 66 million. It's quite a lot for a young defender. I don't think he's reached the height that someone like De Ligt has reached, going for a very similar sort of price. It's a difficult one, isn't it, in Portugal? Because sometimes you get absolute brilliant value for money, and sometimes you have your absolute pants down. I feel like Diaz is potentially a pants down one for us at the moment. In terms of the ins, that's pretty much about it. In terms of the outs, we've got Paul Pogba. Real Madrid have accepted that it's likely that they will have to play the waiting game in their attempts to sign United star Paul Pogba this summer. That's from the Mirror. And apparently United are holding out for a fee close to 200 million to consider selling Pogba. Madrid are looking to sell fringe players such as Bale, Isco and Lucas Vazquez to try and raise the money. Therefore, the deal could go down to the final days of the window, with the market in England closing on the 8th of August, but the Spanish one remaining open until the end of that month. This is right for me, because United, traditionally, we have our pants down when it comes to buying and selling players. We never get full value for a player. If Real Madrid want a player, that's because he's at the top of his game. They don't buy your backups. They don't buy your cast-offs. Real Madrid want your best player. Real Madrid need to pay best player money. This is Manchester United. That guy's on a long contract. If you want him, you've got to pay silly money for him. And I hope United have got the balls to stand strong in this. We don't need to sell Pogba this summer. If you want him, and if he doesn't want to be here, I don't really want him to be here. But I'm not going to take the cut price, whatever Real Madrid want to throw at us for him. United should be making a obscene amount of money in this transfer if that's what wants to happen. 200 million, I can't see him going for that, to be honest, but somewhere in the 140, 150 kind of range, I think would be perfectly acceptable for a player of Pogba's ability and commercial value. That is it from me. There's a little bit of an update on Lukaku, but it seems to be changing every 5 minutes, so I'm going to drill down into this. We'll probably bring you back one on Monday with that. There should be a podcast out with the guys from Stretford Paddock on Sunday, tomorrow, after the game. But if you're going to be checking out the game today, make sure to go and tune into the watch along that Stretford Paddock are doing over on YouTube. Go and subscribe to them. It's a great new channel that's just popped up, and there's going to be some fan cams and stuff, and I might even go and do one myself from out here. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Check out Stretford Paddock for the match day coverage today, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.